Hey everyone, it's Ro with Rose Wigglers. I'm out here in the garden and I wanted to do a follow-up with what I started on social media a couple months ago actually with these propagation of pothos plants. And so I started this experiment. I'm going to bring these in closer. I have 3 plants here and you can see this first one. We started on July 30th. We started all of these on July 30th. So these were all about the same size cuttings. This is how we have rooted. This one was rooted in just tap water. So you can see this nice healthy root system. Here's our leafy greens. They're doing pretty well. So we have 2 that were rooted in just tap water. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Doing its thing. Some nice roots there. You can see. And then here is the one that we rooted using worm casting tea. So it's a little harder to see, but you can see those nice big healthy root systems there. This one seems like it has already bigger, happier, healthier foliage. And so this is where we're at in this experiment today. So what I'm going to do now is pot these now that we have nice healthy root systems. And what's going to happen is I have some pre-made potting mix here that I made simply with some leftover microgreen soil. I partner with a local microgreens grower. Shout out to Ann's Roots if y'all are watching this. They give me their leftover seed starting mix essentially, which is Pro Mix, after they're done harvesting their microgreens. So there's no fertility in that. And there might be some microgreens that sprout up, but it makes a nice potting mix. And then I just mixed in some regular compost. So this is what we're using as our potting mix for all of the plants. However, 2 of these plants will get worm castings and worm casting tea. We'll see the one that has started with the tea from the beginning and the one that is newly getting the tea. And the one plant is going to not get worm castings or worm casting tea. It's only going to get the potting soil. And over time, we'll watch the difference in how these plants respond to being planted and how they grow. So that's kind of the goal here. So I've got a few pots. They're all the exact same size and style. And I'm going to fill this first one up with just the potting mix that I made. It's got my little trowel here, getting this potting mix in. Leave a little lip at the top so there's room to water. So I'm going to take this first plant here that was rooted in just tap water, and I'm going to plant it into this pot with just the potting mix. And then I'm going to make sure to label this as such. I did not bring my tape out here. That was a mistake. But I will make sure I mark these properly to know. We don't really need the day 1 and the day 2. But I'll make sure this is designated as the plant that did not get worm castings or worm casting tea. Look at that root system though. Nice and healthy. So now all I'm going to do is pot this in here. These pots might even be too small. These root systems are already so happy. But I'm going to make a little hole. Get my roots down in there. Tuck them in really nicely. Get this whole little friend. Get all the little roots covered. To pot up this plant. Hello. How are you today? Good, how are you? Good. I volunteered here once before. I'm Emily. Nice to meet you. Hi, Emily. I just wanted to show them because they were interested at one point. But anyway, I love awesome. You now. You be good. Have fun with it. Thank you. Later. Okay, well, this is also a community garden, so people come by from time to time. So now, the last step that you always do when you pot a new plant is you water it in. This is just plain tap water, nothing fancy about it. And so this plant is getting potted with this. I will have to find some saucers to put under these when I bring them inside. My partner will be so happy, but it's fine. Okay, so this baby has been watered in. And again, just plain potting soil, plain water, no worm castings, no worm casting tea. We'll set this all the way over here so I know that's the one. These two are going to be what's next. So let me fill up these two pots and I'll show you the difference of what we're doing this time. So I'll get these fairly nice and full with the potting mix. It's pretty good. Some in this one. Okay, and so now the difference, the first difference is these are both going to get worm castings. So this is the $10 quart size package of worm castings that I sell. I sell it on my website and also at a bunch of farmers markets and stuff. And so this is what I'm going to be mixing in to the soil for these two. And you don't really need a lot. I tell people, you know, a small handful per plant is great. You can also do it, if you like to be more precise, you can do it at up to a 20% ratio, 20% castings, 80% potting soil. After you get past 20%, the benefits kind of tap out. But any small amount is also great. So from time to time, if you just sprinkle this around your plants, it's good. For right now, we're going to just sprinkle some of this on here, roughly a small handful, and then I'm going to mix that in to both of these. Okay, nice and mixed in. And now I'm going to keep these designated so that when I go back and put the labels on, I know which one's which. All the way to the left, no worm castings, no worm tea. All the way to the right is going to be the one that started with worm tea and got planted in worm castings. And the one in the middle will be the one that started with tap water and gets the worm castings and worm tea. So again, check out this root system. Very nice. Happy foliage. Happy plant. Get this baby into this pot. Yeah, these are going to have to be potted up from this pretty quickly, but we'll roll with it. These are the pots I had available that were all the same. I wanted to make sure everything else was the same so you could really, really see the results. And what I am anticipating we will probably also see is some of these will have more transplant shock than others. So this one now got the worm castings. And the last step I'm going to do is I'm going to water it in with my worm casting tea. I sell this as a concentrate, both on my website and at farmers markets and other vending pop-up places, or you can order it locally for local pickup. But this tea is a living ingredient, so it has a very short shelf life. I just bottled this, and I am going to use it at full strength, even though I sell this as a concentrate. You can dilute this at up to a 1-to-10 ratio and have great results. But what I love about it is you don't have to actually measure or worry about doing too much or too strong and burning your plants. So that's another great benefit. So I'm just going to pour this on full strength and let it do its thing. So we're watering this one in with the worm tea. Nice little drink. Okay, that one's going all the way to the right, so we know this one has both. And then this last one already got the worm castings. We're going to do the same process. Make a little hole. Get all those lovely roots in there. They're beautiful roots. I mean, seriously. Pop them in this soil. Tuck it in really well. Give it a little extra to cover up these top roots that are doing their thing. Beautiful. And this one is also getting watered in with the worm tea. And other than me immediately turning off this video and labeling these, that is the end of the part of the experiment we're at today. So remember, until next time, healthy soil, healthy plants, happy worms. follow along to see what happens next.